Oh, I get so excited when our location is a racetrack. It means we've got something fun to drive.
I know, and we both put our flat, well, you've got racing shoes and I put my flat shoes on.
I'm always in my flats.
Good.
I even went with the American flag because it's a bit of an American boy racer we're playing with today.
It is, and it's actually the first time this boy racer is available in the US.
Problem is, I saw the car in the flesh and suddenly I felt like I dressed inappropriately.
I think you are missing something, so just hang 10 there. I've got something for you.
What the hell is this? What is
In fact, I should be carrying it like this.
Is it a baby?
So we are testing something new from Ford today,
Oh, my word.
but I thought it'd be quite interesting for you to do it in something a little different.
Be something sympathetic. Wow, now I look like you.
This is the empathy belly. So it's showcasing Ford's technology, like the ST.
No, I think this is more about trying to turn me into a fat American slob. Because having big bellies, how they're going to fit into Recaro racing seats in an ST, we're about to find out.
To be honest, you're just as unlikely to find a beer-swilling Homer Simpson behind the wheel of a hotted-up Focus as an expectant mother. But in theory, that is the spectrum of buyers Ford hopes to appeal to. The previous generation ST's overly sporty design cues have been toned down, with just minor detailing to remind you of its performance intent. As Ford's new world car, the Focus has to be all things to all men and women.
Back's killing me already. I've been pregnant for 2 hours. Oh. I think my water broke.
To understand the constraints pregnant women are faced with while driving, engineers and designers use the empathy belly to improve passenger comfort. They've also come up with a series of safety tips, including the correct seating position, the best way to fasten a seatbelt, and how to properly support your back. All of which is, of course, completely wasted on Morris.
I know this is not the most appropriate car for an empathy belly, so I think you've had enough fun. We can take it off, especially because being a hot hatch, you're going to have that pee in your pants, gut moving around kind of feeling regardless.
No, I'm going to have that because you're driving.
Damn right I'm driving.
Oh, hell. And I'm thin again.
Come, Granny.
Hang on. I'm glad I left my belly behind.
Glad you did too.
How's the torque steer?
Sure, the torque steer on this car is quite hectic.
Look, I know you haven't driven the old one, massively improved. I mean, they've got all these new little terms, you know, there's torque steer, compensation, linked to the electronic steering, blah, 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 blah.
I'm quite surprised by how much effort they've put into the whole torque steer thing because it actually is really bad.
Oh, but I mean, bad, you're pulling away in a straight line, but I mean, driving it around the track, you can get on the power no problem.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where all the technology has gone into it. I mean, also cool, we know when we had the RS, that obviously they were using that Revo knuckle, but they don't have it in the ST. They've gone with their torque vectoring, which I mean, you got to enjoy. It's across all the Focuses.
Yeah.
So no limited slip diff.
Yeah.
And makes it fun to drive, eh?
Oh, this thing is so much fun to drive, mainly because it's so forgiving. You know, you can chuck it into the corner and it does pull it back, but it's not interfering.
And you have been chucking it into the corner.
I've been loving it.
You've been loving that little lift-off oversteer. It's actually, it's a really fun car to drive.
It is great fun and awesome power.
Well, let's talk about that because I think the biggest discussion point, 2.5 litre 5-cylinder engine is no more. They've gone to the 2 litre 4-cylinder inline direct injection, you name it, it's got it. But the thing it's got the most is the EcoBoost Turbo.
Yeah, it's just an all-new engine.
Yeah, and for us up on the Highveld, turbo's the way to go.
And even driving around town, actually, it's low down power. It comes up, you know, quickly. It's on tap, but it's manageable.
For me, it's kind of understated in terms of its look, and maybe even from a drivability, because you're right, that torque is available low down, 1750, so you're not inclined to drill it through the revs, because you get your thrill away from the line straight away.
Yeah.
And yeah, on the track, I mean, it's immense.
It is.
Because you come on that power and it really goes.
Brakes are good as well.
Thank heavens.
But not in a sharp way. Sometimes, like with Audis, they're very, very sharp and they almost take you by surprise. This, you can brake a little later, you know it's still going to happen, but it's not like giving you a fright.
So even though I'm not convinced that it's hot hatched in terms of looks, it certainly has all the right credentials under the hood, so to speak. 184 kilowatts, 360 newton meters of torque, very similar to my favorite hot hatch, the Renault Megane RS, obviously. So it's up there, but I think a way more compliant drive. Not that we're being very compliant on the track.
No, it's great fun. And you know what I love about it? It's such a solid feel when you get in the car,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel German, which is right because it's not German, but there's something about the feel of the car that gives you the confidence to drive it with gusto, which you should be able to.
Interior, quite an interesting discussion point. Obviously, they've brought out the Focus ST in two specs, ST1 and ST3. We're in the top specs. We've got the full leather Recaro seats, and I do love the seats.
They're good, aren't they?
Oh man, front driver, passenger, 8-way electronic adjustability. You get the perfect driver position no matter what size.
Yeah, I mean, we are in the top spec,
Yeah.
but it's brilliant. For 350,000, it's excellent spec.
364. Don't get people too excited. But a little bit busy for me, and I know I've kind of had that same song and dance about the Fiesta and the Ranger. There's a lot going on, and for me, from a drivability point of view, I prefer a simple steering wheel and a German dash layout because there are a lot of buttons.
There are a hell of a lot of buttons. I definitely think they could have cleaned that up. And also, you know, it is a hot hatch, and I would have liked a smaller steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's quite big for a sporty car.
But maybe, you know, it's kind of in keeping with their growing up. The hot hatch owner now isn't the Boykie racer anymore, but he's actually a guy that has a serious job. He's probably my age, wears his chinos and collared shirts to work. He wants all the trim, all the spec, all the comfort, all the gadgets, and it is incredibly well spec'd. Anything and everything you can imagine is within one touch. You don't have to take your hands off the wheel. So
I love this car. I love it.
I know you do. So I've just seen the way you've been driving it. It's been inspiring. Wow. Well done. Is it a hot hatch though?
It's a fun hatch.
Well said.
So have you got a feeling in your tummy and a need to go to the toilet, or do I need to bring the empathy belly back?
My water broke long ago thanks to your driving, and clearly you love the Focus ST.
I did. I really enjoyed driving that around the track. The steering feel is fantastic, so solid. It's got great power, lots of fun, but a feeling of confidence as well. So I love it.
Very forgiving in terms of what you can do in it. I'm not convinced though in terms of a real thoroughbred hot hatch. Maybe if this was in Tangerine Scream and not, you know, Moon Dust Silver, it might look a bit more boy racer, but it has grown up.
I agree, it hasn't got the looks. But this is also Ford's first global performance car, going on the One Ford strategy. So I guess it kind of has to appeal across the world.
It makes marketing sense. They're going to sell a lot more of it because obviously only coming out in the 5-door version, not in a 3. So for me, I guess it's head-to-head against GTI, but Megane RS is in a different league because it is more purposely built for boy racer.
GTI, you only have the DSG box, you don't have a manual, which this is awesome, you know, you want that in a performance car.
Yeah, you also want a pair of chinos and a smart shirt, I suppose.
Well, you can go and buy your chinos because you're saving with 309 ex VAT, ex CO2 and 350, 3 X all the other things.
Nice having those two options, because I think the guy that is a bit more discerning and wants all the bells and whistles will go for the leather seats and the top spec ST3, but I think probably ST1's the value proposition. Nice.
Love it.
Well done, Ford.